They got the game and they were like, I can't believe it's not finished, but we told you it wasn't finished, but I want it to be finished. When is it going to be finished? It's dying. Finish it now. I think that's the problem. Alrighty, hey guys, we're going to do a different type of video today. It's a little different format, but there is no script to this video. I'm just going to be talking my mind, talking about my opinions of what we're going to be looking at. So what we're going to be looking at today is posts on the forums that, I guess you can call it criticism. Yeah, let's call it criticism, right? So we're going to look over them. We're going to see what they have to say. We're going to see, how valid their statement really is and if it really makes sense. And we're going to go from there because there's been a lot of spicy posts on the forum. Let me tell you something. I have 3 pulled up. We're going to talk about 3 different ones. We're not going to look at all the replies. We're just going to scroll through it, see what it's all about. And, yeah, let's talk about it, right? So the first one right now that we have, by the way, all these posts will be linked down below in the description if you guys want to go check this out for yourself, check out all the replies and all of that, right? So let's get into it. So when will the 1.5 patch be released? This game is dying very fast. Let's read it. So I love this game, but it's dying very rapidly. Since the 1.4 patch on May 8th, there was no remarkable patch. I think it is very slow compared to April. Most users is running out of patience. Many of my friends deleted the game and only I was left. Can we know when the 1.5 patch will be released? And then we have, I think what is concurrent players. It's a concurrent players graph that has Mountain Blade Bannerlord as the blue line. As the green line, we have Civilization 6. And as the pink or red line, we have Warhammer 2. So, yeah, let's talk about every single comment he made. So I love this game, but it's dying very rapidly. Personally, I don't know if he's playing multiplayer or single player, but if he's playing single player, well then, the numbers of concurrent players shouldn't really matter to him, right? But if he is playing multiplayer, I kind of understand, right? Because multiplayer servers have been very unstable. But, yeah, depending on what he plays, the statement could make sense or the statement can't make sense, right? Now, since the 1.4 patch on May 8th, there was no remarkable patch. There's been 1.4.1 and there's been 1.4.2. I think it's very slow compared to April. Well, see, here's a concept that I thought in my head for a little bit. And so what happened is when this game was released, there was a lot of hype for it. As you can see by the graph, there was a lot of hype for it. We haven't seen another Mountain Blade game in so long, right? So the devs were all on board to make as many hot fixes and many changes as fast as possible, right? Because they were excited. Now, I think this is great. They were excited for the game, and they're still working at a very fast pace, even though they've kind of slowed down since April, like this person has stated. I think they did shoot themselves in the foot, the developers, and I say this in a way like I support the developers. You know what I mean? Because I think coming from a Fallout 76 player, I used to play that a lot. Trust me, I appreciate these developers. But I think that since they made so many patches and hotfixes so quick, that became the norm for people. Like in their heads, people thought, oh, this is the norm now. We're going to get so many hotfixes and so many patches almost every other day. And that's just how it's going to go from now on. And I think that's the big misconception people have. There was a lot of hotfixes and a lot of changes early on because obviously they had to, patch the game. There was a lot of people playing it. They had to make sure it was okay, right? Make sure it was playable. And yeah, I think since they made so many patches, now whenever they take small little breaks, they're criticized because they're not following their normal amount that they set in the beginning of the game's launch. Personally, I think that's not a problem. Personally, I think that they fixed big problems very quickly, and now they're seeing how problems they're seeing what problems occur and how they affect other parts of the game, because it's a very complex game if you do think about it, right? I know it's kind of bare bones. There's not too much substance as of right now, but the core mechanics, they're very complex, probably from a coding aspect, very complex, I didn't take too much coding classes. I only took a couple, but trust me, I was stuck on some basic stuff, you know. But yeah, I think breaks are very common, and especially when you name Civilization 6 and Warhammer 2, they take a lot of breaks between what you call remarkable patches, like this person has stated. They've taken a lot of breaks. Now, I have pulled up the patches for Warhammer 2 and also the patches for Civilization 6. And as we can see, if we talk about remarkable, what was the exact name? Remarkable patch, right? So Civilization 6 received a remarkable patch in May of 2020, and then the one previous to that was in September of 2019. So this whole little bump right here, as you can see, it happened around May. Coincidence? I don't think so. Now, if we go to Warhammer, they also received a huge update in May. So, as you can see, it went up. So, I think the concept he was trying to show with this graph was the fact that, oh, these games have went up and this game has went down. But another thing that wasn't really mentioned was the fact that these are two finished games that have been out for what? How many years at this point? So Warhammer 2's been out since 2017, and Civilization's been out since 2016. So these games have had about what? At this point, 2016, 2020, about 4 years and 3 years, respectively, to change things, make big updates, and grow their game, And you're comparing those games that are fully finished, furnished games to a game that just came out, what, less than 3 months ago? I don't think that's a very good comparison, in my opinion. And if we really look at this graph, this point that he says that is the lowest is still a concurrent number, like literally close to the concurrent number of the other two games that are fully finished. Now he says that most users are running out of patience. I don't think so. I think people that are running out of patience are the same people that believe that since they made 20, 30 updates in April, they should make 20, 30 updates every single month. I don't think this is true, and it kind of counteracts the point of you put two games that only make patches a couple times a year, and then you tried to say there wasn't enough. You know what I mean? It was very slow when it comes to patches in terms of April, but you mentioned two games where they didn't do anything in April. It's kind of contradictory. But many of my friends deleted the game, and only I was left. Well, some people decided to wait until stuff was fixed. It's kind of, it's normal. People drop games, people pick up games. It's just how it is. Can we know when the 1.5 patch will be released? In time. In time, stuff takes time. And I think in time, stuff will be fixed. If you give I promise you, listen, I will bet money on this. And I'm not a gambler. I used to gamble in the past, and I've lost a lot of money. But let me tell you something. If you give this game 3 to 4 years, like these other two games that you mentioned, I promise you that it will be fully furnished. It will be a very nice and playable game, and it will be just as enjoyed as Warband is right now, because everybody praises Warband, but for some reason everybody wants to hate on Bannerlord. It's kind of like doesn't really make sense, but well, it kind of does. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be fixed, but at the same time it was early access. So now that was my little rant on this little post. Let's look at some of the what do you call it? Some of the replies. I'm only going to look at the first page. There's 5 pages. You guys can go check it out. Like I said, I'm going to link it below. But it's an early access post. I hope they have a big thing back in their hand, but my hope vanishes from day to day. Okay. The objective of early access is not to keep as many players as possible playing. Honestly, I don't think when this game is fully released, we will see a huge influx of new players. I think this is a bit false. Why I say this is a bit false is because when games receive huge updates, there was always going to be a little pop in people playing. Also, when it comes to a big part of a lot of game success is streamers, right? So whenever streamers are going to hear of a huge patch, or whenever the fully released game comes out, I believe a lot of streamers are gonna play it. It's gonna go back up to the top. And if it is fully furnished and it is fully good, I feel like a lot of players are going to come back because they're going to see their favorite streamer playing it, and they're going to be like, hey, I own this game. I haven't played it because the game was, not in the best state, but now that it's fully furnished, let me go try it out again. So, personally, I think it will see an influx of new players. I don't know if it's going to be huge, if it's going to be big, but I think it will. Bannerlord can maintain similar player numbers to Warhammer 2. Then I call it success. Now, bear in mind, they just got brand new. See, that's what I'm saying. They just got brand new DLCs. They've had their player base for a very long time. Yeah, I think the graph that was shown was very deceptive. Very deceptive. And yeah, it's early access. It is what it is. It's not an excuse, but it's fair to include. Okay. I personally know about 10 people who would like it, but wanted to wait for the full release, which is understandable. Again, like I said before, people are going to drop off the game because they obviously want to wait. They're going to be patient until the game fully releases, and then they're going to play it again. That's just how it works, Listen, I played Warband, not as much as I played Bannerlord, but I played Warband, and I played it in 2015, dropped it off, played it again in 2017, dropped it off, played it right before this game came out, stuff happens. It's okay to be concerned with updates, but what's the point of showing your graph when some people just play and the new content comes out when the game is fixed? For example, if MP was popular like it was released, okay, game will only be on if everyone's refunding on Steam, and I don't see that is true. Like, yeah, it's true in a way, right? Sometimes you can't refund the game on Steam because you played it for too long. But yeah, I think a lot of people, they just want, they're going to come back for very big changes, or they're going to come back for until the game is completely, run its course. A lot of people are probably taking a break from the game. I agree. The perks that missed the most are the community pass don't work anymore. Perks not working. That is a thing they do need to address. If I was them, I would just focus on making a new game. The benefit of early access is you can take people's money without finishing the game. Just run away. I don't think this is accurate at all. I don't think they're running away. A person who runs away doesn't make updates as much. They don't post even on these complete I don't want to use the S word, but these are pretty much S posts. If you know what word I'm using, like this is the equivalent of it, and they're still commenting on it. They're like, I don't think they've come to run. I don't think they come to take your money and go. I think they were very honest up front, and they, you're just very upset with the. How can I say this? A lot of players are upset with they're upset with the truth. That's the crazy part. They're upset with the truth that developers stated what it was. They got the game, and they were like, I can't believe it's not finished, but we told you it wasn't finished, but I want it to be finished. When is it going to be finished? It's dying. Finish it now. I think that's the problem. So that's going to be the first one. It's already goddamn 30 minutes. It's already a 30-minute video, but it's fine. Let's go to the second one. Second point. What do you think is missing for this game to have a soul? Now it's a bland skeleton. To be honest, I don't know how to point at what is missing. It's just boring, meaningless fights. What do you think it is? I remember playing Game of Thrones mods in a Warband, and considering the oldness, it had a very bright core. Now this, how long do you think it's going to take? Well, here's the thing. I think it's going to take 1 to 2 years, like the developers have stated. I do kind of agree with his argument, though. Don't get it wrong. I do kind of agree with his argument. Let me press accept here. The whole thing is of it's being a bland skeleton. Yes, there's a lot of things that do need to be added, but the devs have stated earlier that they're focusing on the stability of the game right now. The overall stability. They're not focusing on the extra things you could do in the town right now, or the extra things you could do with your marriage. That's not their main focus right now. They've stated that. I've also made a video on it, so, yeah. I do understand that it is kind of bland right now. I do get it. There are some mods that make it less bland. I do understand that. But at the same time, it is a sandbox game, and you know, in sandbox games, you make your own fun, if that kind of makes sense. It's not a story-driven game. You know, the story isn't that strong because it's not a story-driven game. It's it's a sandbox game. You know, in the best way I can put it, right? And what you could consider a strategy game as well. But I do kind of agree with his statement. But at the same time, like I said, that's not what they're working on right now. They're not working on cosmetics. They're working on stability, and probably once all the stability fixes are changed, then we're gonna see a lot of these content updates and updates with a lot of cosmetic changes, and that's when I feel that you know a lot of people are gonna come back because I feel like that's what people are waiting for. You know, I feel like the majority they how can I explain this? So when it comes to game stability, um, trying to get this out. I'm trying to get this out in the best way I can. It's formulating in my head right now. But when it comes to game stability, I feel like it's way overlooked in terms of like cosmetics, right? Because what a player can see and what a player's computer can like you know process are two different things, you know. So when companies make stability changes, they're kind of overlooked. They're seen as small little patches, but the stability change could be huge, right? But the player might not notice it because guess what? They don't get this new shining armor in the game. They don't get this new shining quest to do, right? Because it's not cosmetic. But it might help the game engine immensely, right? It might help like, you know, your computer process and pretty much, you know, the FPS. It might help it immensely, but it'll be overlooked because it's not something obtainable in the game. It's not something that they could go in the game and look at, right? So I think that's why a lot of people see it as like this bland game right now because that's the main focus. Even though we do still get some cosmetics, don't get it wrong, we do still get it, but a lot of hot fixes have to do with crash fixes and fixes of that nature. Now let's read some of these replies. You answered your own question. All sandboxes are bland skeletons. It's the mods that make them great. So we need our official tool sets to be released so we can create this game soul. That's true. We have received some mod tools. I don't know how mod tools work. I can't really go in here and be like defend that thing because I don't know how that works, right? But in some of the patches we did receive some stuff that have to do with modding. But yeah. I but I do agree with the whole all sandboxes are bland skeletons. You know, a lot of them are. You know, you have to make your own fun and your own enjoyment out of it, right? It's kind of like the same. I don't know if people have seen it. Red Dead Redemption. They had Red Dead Redemption 2 online was very criticized because it was super bland. But at the same time, you had to make your own little, you know, little story. You could do a little role play. You know, you had to make your own fun. Get a lot of friends into a lobby and make your own fun. And a lot of people were very upset because there wasn't a specified like course to go in the online aspect of Red Dead 2. And I think that's the same aspect as here is like people don't really want to make their own fun. They want to be told like, "Hey, you just took this castle, now go take this town. Now, hey, this just happened. How about you go do this?" I feel like, you know, people want a story-driven game, but it's not a story-driven game if that kind of makes sense, right? Now, in my opinion, there needs to be a difference between factions. Troopa has currently the only ones that kind of plays different is Khazate because I agree with this. I agree with this. I'm not gonna lie to you. The Khazates are very overpowered and they're the most. What would you call it? They're the most dynamic because when it comes to Khazate horses, they're very, very. What's the word? What is the word? Very plentiful. It's kind of like the green guys, the botanet. I can't say their name. You know who I'm talking about. The guys with the archers, the overpowered archers, the hero archers. Those guys and the Khazates, they're very, they stand out a lot because the archers of the green guys are insane and the horse archers of the Khazates are insane. And you know what I mean? And there's not enough, and every other faction doesn't really have that insane unit. And if they do have that insane unit, it's not in every army, you know, or it's very little in every army. Because whenever you face a Khazate army, you can face like 30 Khazate horse archers and you're screwed, right? But whenever you face a Sturgian army, they're hardened brigands, which I think are their best units in my opinion. you'll only see like 1 or 2 of them in their army. If there was 30 of them in the Sturgian army, the Sturgians would do better, right? That's in my opinion. I do agree with this statement. It needs to have a rich story. Every family should have a backstory, and every character should have a personality. That's what I think this game is missing right now. I agree and kind of disagree. I don't think there needs to be a huge, rich story. Families having backstories, that'd be kind of cool, you know, having a personality. I think, yeah, yeah, half and half on this one. I think it's missing a body. Need one to have a soul. Good one. Game don't have enough things to do outside of fighting. Almost nothing actually. Thief development, realm politics, meaningful relationships with other NPCs. Feast, even if it was as dumb as in Warband, all this will help fill in the gaps of gameplay. I agree and disagree. Well, no, I kind of agree. Yeah. I think that the thief developments, realm politics, meaningful relationships, they're not kind of there right now. Like, they're in development. They're like a 50% done, but they need that extra 50% to just really be like, amazing. You know what I'm saying? You just, you know, I kind of agree with this. I agree with this statement a little bit. Yeah. Also, every war must hurt both involved sides economically. Some sort of war attrition must be implemented. Yeah, see, look, I agree with a lot of these statements because, look, I don't know what's to come, right? And I don't think a lot of people know what's to come because right now, like I said before, we're on the stability phase when it comes to updates, right? That's the main focus. What I'm really excited is once this game becomes very stable, right? Because, you know, once it becomes very stable and all that stuff is almost ironed out, I want to see what they do with the content updates. I want to see a huge content update. Like, boom, we just, you know what I mean? Something completely random. Like, who knows what can come next? Like, oh, we just added... you know, like, what can I say? We just added a whole new kingdom for some reason. You know what I'm saying? We just added this. We just added... I can't wait for that, right? And I think that's what a lot of people kind of want right now, but that's not the focus right now, if that makes sense, for the developers. Design a game having players' experience in mind, not the casual player, the player who gets involved in the story, much like get caught in a good book or a good movie, the story finishes... it depends what kind of game you really want, right? Like, there's games that get very involved in the story. There's games that are for casual players and games that are for experienced players. It depends what they're trying to go with, right? But, yeah, it's not really a story game, so I don't know about that one. Feast. You're damn right. I believe it. It's exactly what we need. There needs to be more real interactions with people in the world. It's not all immersive or exciting voting for policies and people assignments through menus. I agree with this. Someone on the Reddit made a post saying that interactions like say voting for something, all the people should come together, you know, at one castle and like have a vote in person. I think that would be very cool. It'd be very like, you know, role play like. So yeah, I do kind of understand. It's more immersive interactions would be really cool. Yeah, I agree with this. I agree with this. Probably more interaction. Yeah, exactly same thing. Yeah, I believe it. The AI is the game killer for me. It's horrendous and laughable at times. I kind of agree with this statement as well. I don't think it's a game killer. It's not a game killer for me, but it is funny sometimes. Let's see. I missed the interactions when nobles warband allowed. Yes, I think I missed these two a little bit. It's early access and frankly is already more enjoyable to play single player than native warband. I agree. That's all I'm gonna say before someone goes crazy on me. I agree. You know what I mean? Well, yeah, okay, that's the first page of replies. There's 10 pages if you guys want to go check that out. Again, the link to that will be in the description. We're at 24 minutes. It's going to be a great long video for people who like to kind of listen to it as like a podcast format. You know, I heard some people that actually do like listening to my videos as they're playing something. That's very cool. You know, I appreciate all the support, like always. Now, this is going to be our third and last. When will this game switch to beta phase? The staff took about 10 years. Oh, brother. Hold on. Let me restart. Let me take a drink real first. Okay, so the staff took about 10 years, and this game is still in alpha phase / early access, whatever. I'm curious how much time it will take to achieve the beta phase, and we will get modding tools, maybe an additional 10 years. Okay, okay, okay. All memes aside, you know what I'm saying? This is a spicy one, right? Um, well, the devs stated that in 1 to 2 years the game should be finally finished. If there's no huge interruptions, 1 to 2 years is the outlook. The whole concept of it's been 10 years. It's actually not been 10 years. It's been a little bit less than 10 years. But uh, it's been 10 years and the game is still in alpha phase. No, no, no. That's not how it works. You know, just because, like I said before in a different video, but I'm gonna reiterate it right here. When what's it called? When a developer team or a game company finishes a game, they don't just start working on the next game. You know what I mean? So as soon as Fire and Sword, which came out after Warband came out, they didn't just think to themselves, boom, let's get to Bannerlord right now, right here. No. They probably took a break. They probably fixed some things in Fire and Sword. They tried to do some other stuff for Warband, you know? They looked into other projects. They might have started other games that, probably, let's say a year down the line, they thought, oh, this actually isn't the best game for us. They might have helped another game company. They might have joined up with another game company to help them with the game. There's a lot of different things that happen, in a game studio. And this is me speaking from experience, not experience. I'm sorry. This is me speaking from outside the experience realm. You know what I mean? So I'm not a game developer, but I've lived a part of my life. I know how life works. Breaks are taken, stuff happens. It's not always a gear that keeps going, if that makes sense, right? So the whole 10-year thing that a lot of people say, and then the game came out in early access, is very childish in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. Let's just let's read some of the replies. Okay, let's just finish off this video. They said it should be around 1 year before early access is over. By the current speed of development, probably take a lot longer than that. I don't think so. Yeah, okay. So I think 1 to 2 years. I'd give it 3 at best, right? But at the speed that they're going, I think stuff will be good in a 1 to 2 years time, in my opinion. Isn't there a general note on Steam page when you purchase that Bannerlord is early access, and that it could get finished or it could not? Also, what do you really expect after 8 years? They magically deliver the end product by summer. Yes, here we go. We have a person with some IQ points left. Okay, sorry about that, but let me reiterate that. So what he stated here is, when you purchased this game, you were told what it was. But I'm not going to repeat that again. You know what it is. You were told what the game was, and now you're complaining the game is exactly what you're told, right? It's like a person who has a very toxic relationship. Let's say you have a very toxic relationship with your other, whatever you choose, whether it's a girlfriend, boyfriend, whichever way you go, right? And let's say that person is abusive towards you, right? And you think, if I marry this person, maybe this person will love me more. No, you knew what it was before you got married. So you knew what this game was before you bought it. You know what I mean? But you're expecting something else, even though you were told by the signs and pretty much the developers telling you that the game was early access. The same way as if someone was to get married in an abusive relationship, you knew this person was abusive, but you chose to still get. You know what I mean? That it might not be the best comparison, but in my head it kind of works. Let me know if it kind of makes sense to you guys. But yeah, it kind of works. So I'd be happy just to get an announcement. We've hired additional 15 programmers to expedite the. Okay, so here's the problem with this. It's not that they need more people. It's that they need time whenever a change happens. So whenever a big change happens or a big patch comes out, you have to understand you need time for people to play the game and then report the problems. They could have people play testing in their office as well. I'm pretty sure they are play testing in their office as well. but you can't catch every single bug and you can't catch every single problem. And since there's so many complex parts in this game, when you really think about it, you know, you you need a lot of people testing it and giving like reports back. You know what I mean? Like sending reports back to the developers so they can see, oh wow, this change made a problem for this person in this scenario, for this other person in that other scenario. How can we change this? So you need time and you need feedback to make, you know, a stable and good game. Hiring more people, yeah, it does help in a way. I'm not gonna lie, like it doesn't help, but that's not the problem. They're not short-staffed. That's not the problem. That's here. They are a small company. 15 more programs would double the amount they have. I think this game is very good. Are you serious? Tailor hires over 100 staff. They're probably the biggest indie developer around. See, a lot of misinformed people talking. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I didn't know the size. That's why I didn't comment on the size. But you know, people like to comment on stuff they don't know, right? I think the problem is not manpower. We could hire... Okay, what is this? I don't think the managers and investors are different. I don't think this is a problem either. I don't think the managers or investors... no, I don't think that's a problem either. I think, like I said, I think time is needed to make changes. But yeah, hey, that is going to be it for me. 32 minutes. Oh, wow. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this different format of a video. Let me know if you'd want me to do this in the future. It's a longer video. I just talk my mind. It's not really a script, you know. Yeah, I thought it was pretty productive. So yeah, without further ado, go comment. You know, I never want to say the whole go like and go. Don't do that. Don't do that. Only sub if you think I'm cool, right? But go comment any questions or suggestions, and like always, stay safe.